They said she got off the bus and walked home, but she never came back. 15-year-old Emily Carter was supposed to be home in 20 minutes. Instead, her footprints ended on a gravel shoulder, just outside the last light on Maple Avenue. No struggle, no sign of panic, just nothing. They called her the bus stop shadow, the girl who vanished at dusk, leaving the world asking why, and the one person who might know the truth, the bus driver. There are few places more hypnotic than a school bus winding through a sleepy corner of suburban Iowa. The ones with candy-colored benches and dust clouds that swirl in the morning sun. That's where Emily sat. 5th row, window seat, sketchbook open on her lap, pencil never resting. The bus driver, Greg Thompson, had been at the wheel for 15 years, ceremonious, dependable, unseen. Every morning, he'd nudge the bus into drive, drop the kids off, collect their notes, and repeat. Parents trusted him. The school board trusted him. The whole town did. Every once in a while, he'd make small talk, weather, homework, weekend plans. Friendly, but none of that meant he was telling the truth. April 12th, overcast sky. Emily boarded at 3:23 p.m. Greg logged her boarding in his report, stepped to the rear door. But he didn't log her getting off. The next stop was the corner of Maple and Oak. The usual time, 4:12 p.m. Greg stopped, the door hissed, and he called her name. Emily, Bus Carter. The report said she stepped off, gave a little wave, and faded into the dusk. But so many things didn't fit. She'd never gotten off alone before. Her father always met her at that stop. Her mother sometimes lingered in the driveway. That evening, no one was there. They called. No answer. When doors stayed closed and homes stayed dark, panic spread faster than a wildfire. Denise Carter called the bus company first. The answer, "We'll check the log." The log said Emily disembarked. Bus 19, stop 8. They told her. It was the truth on paper. But the family knew it didn't align with Emily. Denise cried. Robert trembled. Neighbors pitched in flashlights, maps, prayer. The sheriff arrived at 8 p.m. No footprints, no abandoned shoes, no clothing, just the bus's dust pattern on the gravel. A silent whisper that something was terribly wrong. Social media set the blaze. Hashtag Find Emily trending before sundown. Videos of the bus door opening, her pencil tapping on paper, shoes inching toward the street. The town's heart broke and hunted. The school counselor had been the last adult to see her alive at 2 p.m. She said Emily stayed late discussing art. The librarian confirmed the sketchbook was there. Nothing else. Police detectives closed off the area. They checked cameras. None pointed at the bus stop. Only grainy surveillance of the bus pulling into the lot earlier that day. Greg Thompson, he had his story. He handed over his report. He testified, cared. He wiped away tears when the camera asked if he'd ever let her alone before. Never, he said. This was routine. Nothing changed. He looked honest. But there was one detail he didn't include. Thursday night, a volunteer group scanned an overgrown field. It was behind the gravel shoulder, past the stop, 2 miles from home. Heather Myers pressed her flashlight beam across the tall grass and froze. A shoe, school-laced, pink, Emily's size, brand. Then another, then colored pencils. The group flagged it. Within hours, FBI was called. By dawn, they'd found the remains. Not Emily, something else. Her backpack open, torn. A sketchbook. White butterflies Emily had begun drawing last week. The pages fluttered in a plastic bag. No body, no blood trail, just intention. Someone had taken her neatly, without evidence left behind, carefully, and that changed everything. When they came for Greg Thompson, he answered the door in his bus driver uniform. Coffee-stained knit sweater, graying hair, worried stare. He said he'd been asleep when the bus returned. He said he'd gone to bed early. He said he had nothing to do with her disappearance. They searched his house. The living room was clean. The bedroom, child-proofed. Pictures of Greg's daughter and wife on the dresser. Background noise of a TV left on. In the basement, Nothing. Empty boxes. No evidence. No tools. But upstairs, his cell phone was in the trash. They pulled it. 227 unknown deleted calls on April 12th. Geodata placed him at Maple and Oak at 4:12 exactly, which matched the bus log. But one of the call locations also matched the remote field 2 miles away. At 4:55 p.m., he'd been there. Why? He denied it. Wrong roads, he said. Never been there. But his phone said otherwise. They wanted to question him again. At the Carter household, the grief became quiet. Denise stared at Emily's room. Sketchbooks open, art stacked. Robert swore he heard her on the porch at night, maybe shouting his name, but the mother's eyes kept glancing at the police station. As Greg's story unraveled, Denise felt sick. He was the last to see her. He drove her to that spot. He was nearby when she vanished. Something about that warm, trusting face. Greg had said, nothing changed. Hit her wrong. She wondered if Emily had ever said something, some doubt, about that ride. Then came the call. A letter from an anonymous tipster. They included a number plate. Metallic gray sedan seen idling near the field at 4:50 p.m. A neighbor had taken a blurry photo. It matched a car registered to Greg Thompson. More calls poured in. Stories of him stopping for breaks in the field. Taillights left on past curfew. Whispers of a man walking late and coming back with mud on his shoes. The sheriff's office coordinated with traffic cam footage. A grainy plate match pinned the car to the area. Greg's defense collapsed. He tried to plead ignorance, but the evidence stacked up, and people began to ask, who was Emily in his mind? Greg was subpoenaed again, under oath in a packed courtroom. He recounted the same story. Routine route. Door extends. She waves. He leaves. But then the prosecutor asked the question that broke him. Mr. Thompson, did you call someone at 4:55 p.m. in that field? He paused. His face reddened. He swallowed, then nodded. Yes. Who did you call, Mr. Thompson? He stuttered. A shift happened. He lowered his gaze. Then he said, I can't remember. Raw confession that erased years. He couldn't remember his own alibi. He couldn't remember where or what he was doing. And suddenly, the courtroom realized he was lying. Everything. He knew what he was doing. He knew who she was to him, but he couldn't remember. Why? Because Emily didn't walk away. Something else happened. Something he couldn't or wouldn't admit. They arrested him, tried him. No confession came. No body was found. But under pressure, other evidence leaked. The bus was cleaned, chemicals used to remove trace DNA. A heating duct beneath the steps. The driver's seat locked to the frame. A hole drilled in the ceiling. All modifications. All new. All traced to Greg's house. The story became clear. Greg had built a short tunnel from his basement to the bus lot, clean enough to move someone into the field later. He'd picked Emily, driven the bus, used the tunnel, stopped there, and removed her without leaving a trace. He almost got away with it. He was sentenced 25 to life for kidnapping and murder. The body was never found. In court, he never said sorry. He never told the truth. He just sat, arms folded, like someone who'd made up his mind years ago. Emily's family asked about the butterfly drawings. They wanted to know if she asked about construction in the basement. They wanted answers. He looked at them with cold eyes. Dunno. That was all. And the courtroom went silent. Maple Avenue is quiet again. The bus still stops. Passengers still board. Lamppost shadows stretch longer now. Mothers hold tighter. Children step off with cautious eyes. But every dusk, somewhere a window light flickers, because Emily never came home. And the person they trusted most, he was the one who took her.